Hey guys, Abner and Miranda here. I wanted to show you a quick drill that I like doing for fast shot acquisition and then follow through. But before I give you the drill, I want to give you the warning that goes with it. I'm working with a plate rack today. This is from Action Targets, and it is a 550 Brunel through hardened steel plate rack. The lollipops are through hardened steel. Rifle rounds, even out of shorties, which is what I'm going to be shooting today, have enough velocity when you're shooting things like M193 to take a chunk out of steel. Okay, the owner of Challenge Targets told me this a while back, and when he said it, I thought, okay, I thought it was just me. Whenever I would shoot my steel up close, I would find divots in it. In fact, there's a divot on this plate right here. And whenever I would find these little divots, I would always think to myself, you know, what is doing that? Of course, back then I used to shoot M193 and M855 and 77 grain OTM. I mean, I shot everything at these plates from as close as 5 yards all the way out to 100-ish yards. But what I discovered when I started consistently training up close was that, sure enough, the 55 grain M193 was taking chunks out of things. The reason I'm giving you this warning up front ad nauseum is this is dangerous. Shooting this close, training this close to steel is dangerous. Okay. I've got the plate rack set up. The way this works is you start at the top right or the bottom left. It doesn't really matter. I like to start at the top right. Top right, bottom left. Top left, bottom right. Top right, bottom left. And now you've taken that plate rack and all you've done is just reset it in the other direction. And this is a bigger challenge when you've got two plate racks, because you can set them really far apart and it allows you to always be working at an oblique angle. So instead of working this way, which is why I said to you guys earlier in the video, do not shoot your steel from this distance this close. You will damage it. This is an 11.3. With a 16, dude, you could potentially go through. And not only is a lot of spall going to come back at you, which I'm probably going to catch spall doing this anyways, but not only is a lot of spall going to come back at you, you could have like potentially dangerous levels of bullet spall coming back at you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand way off to make sure I've got an oblique angle on this. And this is one of the most useful games that I do to teach me sight acquisition. The trick to this is once you decide the shot you're going to take and you begin to take that shot, you should automatically be tracking where you need to be going to next. So you literally finish pulling that trigger and you're no longer looking at the threat, because you've gotten the physical input. In this case, the physical input is the threat has moved, it's disappeared. So now I track where I need to go next. That's what this is about. Oh, and the other thing is, I do it with only 6 rounds, so that there is a sense of necessity of accuracy. 6 rounds should reset that entire plate rack. All right, 6 rounds, the plate rack is now reset. The gun hasn't gotten anywhere near hot enough that I can't touch the fore end of it or even really the muzzle of the thing. The weapon's locked back to the rear so that I know that everything is working properly in the gas system, because this is an adjustable gas block in here. I've got 6 rounds through the gun. I can go back and reload. I haven't blown through a lot of ammo. I've done everything that I need to do to bring the weapon up to my shoulder. In this case, optic alignment. Optic alignment, trigger squeeze, reset, follow through, go down, find my next shot, boom, 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 done. Nothing hit me, and nothing has hit the camera, we're good. And let me go down range and show you guys the steel real quick. Okay, all right, see, even though it's an oblique angle, when you're shooting up close, you're causing little nicks in the plate. These are not terrible. This is what's to be expected. I mean, you can see there's a lot of major damage on this plate from other shooters that have shot this thing from a direct shot this way. But steel is a training medium that is meant to be consumed. For real, guys. Steel is a training medium that is meant to be consumed. You're meant to invest in steel because steel invests in you. And the best way I can put that is this. When I pull the trigger on paper, like this set of targets over here. If I pull the trigger on paper and I fire 10 rounds and I get a bullseye on, say, you know, I get 3 bullseyes, okay? The question then becomes, which one of those 10 shots was it that I bullseyed? Was it shot number 2? Was it shot number 5? Was it shot number 9? I don't know. Why? Because I fired 10 rounds and I only got 3 bullseyes. When I'm shooting at a small target, and mind you, I'm close to this so that the camera can actually see what it is that I'm doing in relation to what it is that I'm shooting at. This drill with rifle, oh man, step back 25, 30 yards. This gets really interesting when you're basically freestanding and you're having to bring your rifle up and you know, get those cues of you know, your offset, because this is a 50-yard zero on 11.3 with a 12.9 MOA RMAR OAG. There's a mouthful. And that 12.9 MOA delta that I've got on this thing requires me to put the point of aim, point of impact at the top of that delta. But inside of this range, that delta, let's say that this is the 6 inches. Well, typically speaking, this would be at 50 yards, point of aim, point of impact right there. But because I'm inside of 50, I have to move it up, right? Because remember, forehead, it's your offset is typically about that much. So if I want to hit the person here, I have to aim at the forehead, which is why I forget which unit it was. I want to say it was delta, but I might be off on that. But they're trained forehead, forehead, throat, throat. Meaning you aim at the forehead to hit between the eyes, you aim at the throat to hit roughly at the very top of the sternum, which gets your round right past body armor. Forehead, forehead, throat, throat. So those are the things that I do here when I'm training. And the reason that I really like shooting on steel versus paper is, like I said before, if you shoot 10 rounds and you have 3 bullseyes, you don't know which one it was, which one of those 10. When I shoot at a very small target, within 300 milliseconds of hearing, seeing, experiencing that ding, the poof of the round disintegrating, and that plate violently swinging over, my brain creates a new neural pathway and labels that pathway success. Which is why when I've got a shooter, a few days ago I had my daughters out on the range. We were at roughly 100 yards. And my youngest, it's been a while since they shot, my youngest was shooting. And she fired. And internally I was getting frustrated on her behalf. And she got a hit and I said, whatever you just did, do it again. And then she did it again. And then she did it again. And then she did it again. Subconsciously, she had actually realized, oh, that maneuver that I just did equals success, and she repeated it. You can't do that when you're shooting paper because you don't know. Which is why every other sport has a visual, an audible, and an auditory feedback. I mean, think about it. Basketball. Golf is kind of, because you can't really see the target that you're aiming at because it's on the ground, but basketball, baseball, throwing a football through a tire that's swinging, hockey. I mean, every one of these sports have a visual, an audible, and a visual, an audible, and a physical feedback to the athlete. But this one doesn't, because most people shoot paper or plastic. Steel gives you the best feedback, but steel is expensive. Steel is dangerous to shoot up close. Guys, I'm floored that I didn't just catch bullets ball. Truly floored. Because I'm accustomed to catching pieces of bullets all the time. Or my camera catching pieces of bullets. But this is worth it. This truly is worth it, guys. If you guys have any comments or questions, leave them below. As always, I thank you guys for watching. God bless you all. Get those guns out in practice. Have a good one. When it does that, just reset the rack. Yep, I think I screwed it up. Yeah, I definitely screwed it up. There we go.